Welcome back to the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast, where we bring real testimonies of faith, resilience, and brotherhood. Today, our guest is Justin Mahaffey, aka Wildlife Fit 805. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and never miss an episode. I'm your host, Steve, and tonight I am joined by Justin, who is the owner of Wildlife Fit 805. Justin is with us tonight. He's going to share his story. He's going to talk about his business and also how we as men can have better relationships with our significant others. Justin, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. I'm honored to have you, and it's a pleasure to get to sit down with you tonight.
Likewise, man. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's kind of kick it off and kind of start with, where were you born and what was your childhood like?
So where I was born in the first part of my story is short, I guess. We'll keep that part short. So I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and I only lived in Florida until I was 5 years old.
Okay.
The rest of my family is from there, I guess, so it is relevant to that extent. Because when we moved here, I no longer had relationships with them. It was just me, my mom and sister. Stepdad at the time, and my brother, he was in prison in Florida. So it was just really the three of us after my mom divorced my stepdad once we were here. So I live in Santa Maria, California, and I've been here since I was 6. And that's, from 6 to, I'd say 12, my mom got divorced from my stepdad, and it was just us. And I was actually the only white kid in my neighborhood, me and one other guy. I'm Irish, and I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood. We moved right into the most active part of the city. So a lot going on. And that became what my whole life became about. So as a kid, I was into sports. I was always into boxing and football. Real big,
Cool.
right?
Okay.
But I didn't get to play that out very far. My mom and my stepdad divorced, and at that time, life changed a lot. In that exact moment, so when that was going on, my dad, who I hadn't seen since I was 6, died playing Russian roulette. So my whole life kind of changed real dramatically that time. My mom got that divorce, and then she started moving over with her new boyfriend and now husband on the other side of the city, and so I stayed by myself right there. So I look at that as one of the most powerful parts of my story, because that's when I really started developing all the things that drive me today. So I didn't like what family life was around me. Like I said, I'm 12 years old and I'm on my own. I'm still playing youth football. And it's actually a funny part of my story. I loved that game. I was good, man. I got league MVP, co-league MVP every year I played. I was good. I got offered a scholarship to play at high school. But in 7th grade, I got arrested at school and expelled. And then I never really went back to regular school ever again.
Okay.
So sports were over, and it was just the streets. That became my life. And like I had my own house, which was paid for by the Social Security check from my dad.
Okay.
And my mom would take care of the rest and make sure I have food and stuff, right?
Gotcha.
So I became, at that age, committed to wanting to build my own family, create the relationship that what I thought it should look like, and have my kids. And I started planning that out at a very young age. So I was living as an adult already since 12.
Okay.
I started, I had to take care of the whole house. But all those things, some people can look at that as hardships, but I looked at it as the most powerful piece of my growth
Mm-hmm.
and what I was going to do with my kids. So like, throughout my teenage years, I won't jump ahead too much to my kids yet, but so in my teenage years, I spent a lot of time locked up. It was normal. I was on the streets or locked up, and it was just normal. Didn't matter where I was, but I was always into working out. So I keep myself doing that. I would work out in or out, and was a huge part of my life. And I couldn't shake that lifestyle. It was normal to me. I started having, so my first daughter, um, was born when I was 17, and then my son when I was 19. And I was still messing up. I was trying to do good. When I turned 18, I tried to go to the military.
Okay.
but because of my record, which I didn't think would matter because it was juvenile, did. They told me I needed to clean a lot of stuff up. I needed to get my GED. I needed to make sure to go close my record because I already had like 3 or 4 felonies as a juvenile. And so in the midst of trying to do all that, I caught an adult case. So then that was out the window. All right. Um, so I was working multiple jobs, trying to be a dad, but I was still caught up in the life I was in. It was normal. It was what we were, you know. And
Yeah.
so I ended up getting in some more trouble. And well, I got out when I was 23. I wasn't in that whole time. I was just in and out. And then there was a 2-year span where I was pretty much in. Um, but that's where the best part of my story comes. That's when all those tools came into play. So I decided that am I jumping too far ahead, or do you have any questions about
I
that
was,
time, or we can
yeah,
bounce back?
I got a quick question for you, man. So when you kind of had that thought process of how you wanted your own family to look like once you had kids and once you got to that point, did you have like a male role model or a mentor or someone that you kind of gravitated towards to kind of find that, you know, that vision or that ideal? Where did that come
No,
from?
it's the opposite
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
Um, Everything that I saw, I knew wasn't good enough, and I didn't want it. So
Right.
that became the fuel. So there's no relationship around me that I wanted to emulate. There was no male role model that I thought was okay. This is the way to go, or guy. It was none of that. It was
Mhm.
just what I thought things should look like from what I didn't want.
Did did you ever have anyone at one point, because you know, you mentioned you're playing football and you're doing really well. Did anyone, say with the crew you're running with, kind of pull you aside and say, "Hey man, you actually have some potential to go somewhere outside of this lifestyle"? Did you have anyone like that at all?
But yeah,
Okay.
there was some good men, and I'm still actually in contact with them to this day, that looked out for me. They'd come pick me up, take me to
Nice.
like the games, let me spend the night at their house on Friday night so I wouldn't miss the game, stuff like that. And you know, it just they're the ones who even arranged the scholarship for me to that one high school to go to play because it wasn't legal to
Nice.
do that, but they arranged it and worked it out if I were to go, but I just messed it up by
Okay.
getting locked up, you know.
Right, right. Okay. Well, and
So
I
I
got
didn't
another
have like
question.
okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
I was just gonna say I didn't have a really in-depth personal relationship with them outside of that though.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know about
How
their
much
family or anything like that, you know?
Right. So was this like peers? Were they like still kids or were they like young adults? Like what kind of age group was this?
Nah, coaches, I'd say
Okay, coaches.
from 20 to probably 40.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice. So you did have some guys kind of in your corner at least, kind of guiding you at least in the what some of a right direction. It sounds like.
Well, I would say support, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and they still are to this day. They're cool guys who I
Nice.
like and respect, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. So you've kind of got your life going. You were talking about how you were getting your check, you got your house, and your mom's providing the food. So you want to kind of go from that point and where
Sure.
life goes from there.
Yeah, you know, it was just all about survival.
Hmm.
And making my way and just creating my own path. You know, I didn't have like everyone around me had their cousins and their brothers and their uncles and all this to support them and have it going on. All I had was me. So it really became about that, surviving, figuring things out, making extra money. You know, school didn't make sense. It wasn't for me. So that just became my entire life and what was normal to me. The streets are a lot different for different people. You know, you have kids who have normal families and go to school and are still in the streets, and then you have the ones who are just in the streets, you know, and that's where I ended up for a while. And it was a powerful part of my life and still is. I'm still connected to the same people. Uh, You know, I try to help out my friends that are still struggling to just lock it down and work out and take it one day at a time, you know?
Yeah, and you're definitely making a huge influence, man. Just from the stuff I've seen, you inspire a lot of people. Like I love the content that you put out. So I know you're inspiring a lot of people, and I'm I mean, I don't know how far away. I'm in Tennessee. I'm a long way from where you are, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. I have clients from all over the world. So
Nice.
people associate to me, I'm not like a lot of the people online where like I don't do steroids. I don't try to just constantly sell a bunch of shit. I don't just it's just simple for me. Just shut up and do work and do better,
Yeah.
and
You're
that's
you're
all I
you're
push.
you're authentic, which is rare in this world, man. You don't see a lot of that anymore. It's all smoke and mirrors and bullshit, and that's not you at all. And I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I actually have one of my good friends right now who he's a little older than me. He's from my neighborhood, and he messaged me 2 nights ago because he's doing my challenge right now, and he was just talking about how inspirational I am and what I have going on, and that's meaningful to me, especially someone close to me that
Yeah.
is wanting to find ways to be better and sees what I'm offering as a tool for that. So I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's very cool, man. And I'm not trying to. I didn't want to jump ahead because you were kind of still going with your story, but I just want to throw that out there because I know you are making an impact on a lot of people. Even as far away as across the world, and then on my end over here
Yeah,
outside
you're
of
way over there.
Nashville. Yeah, yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, like, because so I lived in San Diego when I
Mm.
was in the Navy. I'm not really sure where are you in California? Is that kind of middle of the state? Where exactly is that?
Kind of. It's like so you know where Santa Barbara is?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm right there. So it's
Okay,
yeah, so like I am 2 hours from downtown LA on the coast.
okay, okay. Cool.
So
Okay, I know
for
where that's at.
Northwest.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, right where the state has that elbow?
Yeah,
I'm on the
that's
elbow.
where you are. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out there, but yeah, I was out there back in early 2000s kind of, and I've been to LA, but I haven't really been anywhere past LA, so I was in Coronado. I don't know if you ever go down to San Diego, but I was down
Yeah.
in that area for a while. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
A lot of Californians in Tennessee now, man. There's a lot of them
Right?
here. So,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
dude. Yeah, they're everywhere, man. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah. So let's kind of
I
let's
love
kind of
the
pick
sorry,
do
man. I
what?
was just gonna say,
No, you're
I
good.
love the whole
No.
I love the whole California lifestyle. It's like my whole get
Yeah.
down, the whole West Coast, the palm
Yeah.
trees, the beach, the
Nice.
mountains. I love it.
I love the beach, man. I love the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's kind of pick back up. So you're on your own now. You got your house. You're kind of doing your thing. Where's life taking you from that point, man?
It's it's just a lot of I don't know how to describe it, man, in a way that people can associate to just the street life,
Yeah.
a lot of activity, me just trying to work different jobs, unfortunately to admit slang at the time, just making money, doing whatever I can to get ahead. And at that time of my life, to be honest with you, like being locked up was like a rite of passage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even my PO, when I got off probation, a couple of them came by as an adult to me and and they asked me to go speak at camps and stuff. And
Nice.
because they expected me to be doing life and I'm
Yeah.
not.
Right.
So
Right.
and I'm not one of those guys either who ever turned my back on my friends, on my neighborhood, or went the other way. I was actually lucky enough for the people that I grew up with when I took custody of my kids. They're the ones who helped me because I had two jobs, no car. When I got out, I took custody of them, and so I one of them would give me a ride to work, as the other one picked up my kids and took them to daycare. I'd get dropped off, they'd pick them up, take them to me. My other friend would come watch them at night while I rode my bike to my other job until I got home. Like so,
Wow. Good
yeah. And
friends right there.
yeah, and these are the people who I grew up with every single day. And unfortunately, a couple of them are doing life now, but they were the ones that helped me.
Yeah.
You know,
And this what age is this? Like 21, 22,
that's 23.
23? Okay.
Yeah, but
So
the
you're
teenage years were full of trials and just battling the system. To be honest with you,
yeah.
that was the biggest hurdle during my teenage years was You know, for example, when I was about 14, I think, we weren't allowed to be in the projects. They had a gang injunction on us. We're like, we can't be there. So they're not in the wrong for this because I should have known I shouldn't have been there. But that's where I played
Hmm.
basketball and stuff, right?
Oh,
I was a kid. So I'm playing
yeah,
basketball. They roll up and they arrest me. And I tell them, you're going to lock me up for playing basketball? They're like, you can't be
yeah,
here. So it's just
dang,
all the time, in and out, where it becomes
yeah,
normalized, and that's when
right,
it becomes hard. That's when it becomes hard for people because then you stop caring really. And then also it just becomes so normal that people get stuck in there. And then the system is just horrible. They make it where you can't get out.
yeah, yeah,
I have a brother now who's doing life. It's just he got 83 to life, my brother, and it's like he can't. The system is bad, and it's a hard battle for everyone who gets stuck in it.
yeah, and it's interesting how they kind of cherry pick too when it comes to charges and what gets extended sentences and stuff like that too, man. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
they gave him, so
it
he's on this charge. He would have only had 20 years, which he's done now. So I got him a lawyer. I'm trying to get him out, but they gave him so many decade terms for gang enhancements that he got 83 with a life sentence on it.
wow, no kidding.
Yeah, and now it's like so now they've changed some laws. So I'm hoping to get him out, but it's not as easy as I had the lawyer ready for about 2.5 years, and
Wow.
then once you're in there, it's hard to not get. If something's happening, you don't have a choice. So you catch more time, or you get to the shoe term or something. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's tough,
So I kind of want to ask you this before we keep going because I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Now you're a firefighter,
yeah,
right?
18
So
years.
how does that okay, you're a firefighter and most I mean, I don't know how it is in California, but in Tennessee, like cops and firefighters don't get along. You've already had kind of a pre-exposure to law enforcement growing up, with kind of being on the streets and like you're just saying, you get arrested for playing basketball, which is stupid. How does that work as a firefighter having to interact with law enforcement coming from that type of background? Is it hard for you or was it weird in the beginning?
No,
Like how'd that
so
work?
my position. Well, first of all, firefighters and cops are two completely different jobs. So I don't have
Yeah,
to
they
interact
are.
with them. So it's like it's a whole different get down. People actually are happy when they see us because we're there to help. The cops are the problem.
I used
So
to be a cop, dude. So yeah, I
yeah, I know.
know.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
everybody loves the firefighters, man. Everybody loves
it's true
y'all.
though.
It is. It is.
But so here's the thing with that. I never had any sort of vendetta or animosity towards cops.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
growing up, even my POs, they were cool with me. How the house arrest people who worked that, they would hang out with me for an hour, just talking because when they would bust me, I would tell them, "Oh, you got me." It's like
Yeah.
they have their job and I had mine. Sometimes I would win,
Right,
sometimes they
right.
would. They weren't my
Yeah.
enemies. The other people who were trying, it wasn't like that for me. So even when I was
Okay.
locked up and stuff, I was always cool with them, and I don't have that animosity. And I respect certain cops who I feel like
Yeah.
I had a friend who became a cop and he was doing it for the right reason, man. He used to give kids pogs in the neighborhood and like he
Yeah,
really
nice.
went into the job with genuine intention to try to be a better part of the community. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And then
That is
some
very
guys are
cool.
dicks, but some guys are
Yeah.
dicks in every
That's it.
field.
It's every job. Yeah, and I think it boils down to like you can respect the profession, but not always the person that works in that profession. That's how I
Yeah.
always kind of looked at it. So I mean, yeah, I was
Yeah.
just curious, man. I was just hearing you talk, and I was like, huh, I
But
wonder, I wonder what his thoughts on cops
yeah,
are.
no, but I do the battle of badges. So I get to box cops.
Nice, dude.
That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. And me
Yeah, it's
personally,
fun.
I've been on both sides of the law, so I got a different perspective too. So, but you know, but I was just
Yeah. My
curious, man.
dad
So
actually
let
worked for the sheriff department in Florida. He trained canines. That was his job when he was younger.
cool. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Very
Yes, his
cool,
job
man.
was
Very cool.
the canine. Yeah, my dad, when he was alive, they used to breed dogs, show dogs, and then he worked for them to train their canines.
Very cool. Okay.
Mm.
Awesome, man. So, okay, let's go back to where you were before. You're a single dad. You're getting help from your friends at 23, which that right there alone, man, says a lot because there's a lot of dudes especially at 23, that wouldn't want to touch raising kids or being that responsible. So that just kind of goes to show your character right there. I mean, it's hard enough at 46, man. I'm a single dad at 46, and it's hard enough. It's hard enough
It was
now. I can't
tough,
imagine
man,
doing it at 23. Yeah,
but
can't
it was
imagine.
yeah, for me, it became, a lot of single moms say it's the hardest thing in the world and stuff, and I didn't have that experience. For me, it was, the best part of my day, and just trying to
Yeah,
figure out how to make the money for this or to do that. I was just so passionate about it where it wasn't I never really thought of it as like, this is hard. It just you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. And so there was a pivotal moment. My mom and sister brought my daughter when she was, God, she must have been 3, to visit me, and it was between the glass, and my daughter pounded on the window, and she was mad because she couldn't hug me, and, that shit broke my heart, man. I'm
Oh,
sitting
yeah,
there surrounded by a bunch of guys, right, and I'm just like, it broke my heart, and in that moment, I decided when I get out, I'm never coming back, and I never went back when I got out.
good for you,
I
man. Good
Yeah,
for
I
you.
figured out how to stay out, man. It's like, I mean, it's a game of chess, and I just think I kinda figured it out, I still
Yeah,
hung out with the same people, but I wouldn't, stopping partying was a big deal, and then in my 20s, I still drank, but I stopped
hmm,
trying to make money off of drugs. I stopped, um, using, if anything, and then, just started making different decisions with the consideration of the consequences, not to myself, but to them in mind all the time, and that changed my path.
yeah. That's amazing. A lot of guys don't do that. Even when they have
Yeah.
kids, they stay selfish and kind of do what they want to do. And it's especially coming up the way you did. It's pretty inspiring to hear that, man. You're a good
Yeah, I
man.
appreciate
You
that,
don't meet.
man. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. It's like, and a lot of my friends, um, I feel like were inspired by that, and that's why they supported me so much with helping me with my
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
It
man.
just it
Hell yeah.
was it was something different. They thought it was beautiful, and it became not just my life, but quite a few of my friends. It became a huge part of their everyday and
Hmm.
what their life became about. So it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So how did you end up? Where did you go from that point? Like, how did you end up? You said you've been a firefighter for 18 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I started building. I'm gonna jump around, man, because my stories,
Yeah. No, you're good.
like a lot of stuff from my youth, like I said, is powerful to who I am today. But I don't like to tell my story of when I was younger as some sort of like hardship to the point of where like it's like, oh, woe is me. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that
Yeah.
about my story. So I feel like a lot of things that happen to a lot of people, and life has
Hmm.
its hardships and things are hard. It's about what you do with it all the time.
Right.
I started going to walk into construction sites when I was like 15, trying to like start being sweeping, picking up nails, whatever it was. So I started getting into construction then, and I liked kitchens. So I'd get into kitchen work,
Nice.
and but I was 15, so it was hard, you couldn't really get like a real job,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I could in my area get in with places. So I did. And so I built houses. I ended up being a finished carpenter basically working in kitchens and finished carpentry from like 15 to 25.
Okay.
So, but in and out still from the jail until I was 23, right?
Hmm.
So here and there, whatever. But
Yeah.
when I was
Yeah.
23, I got out and I got a good job of finished carpentry and I was working at a pizza place at night. So I was doing
Okay.
all that until I was able to get one job that paid me as much as both jobs after I earned my keep, with the finished carpentry stuff. Um, so I was doing that. And then 2008 came, and that's when everything started slowing down. So we were doing tile, we were doing drywall, anything you could think of to make money so my boss could get us hours. He fired everybody in the company and only kept 3 of us on. So yeah, so we were trying to make it work and we were doing okay, but I was at a little beach party with one of my best friends and he had been in fire for about a decade at this time. And going back to when I was a kid, when I was like 16, I was locked up in this youth boys camp. And we used to go and cut line with the fire crew
Oh,
and do
okay.
all the stuff like that. So I loved
Yeah.
it then. I had
Yeah.
my foot, I kind of knew what it was. Um, I told him, "Hey man, what do I have to do to get into fire because construction is so slow, right?" And he told me, "Well, go get your GED and then go out to every station, ask to PT with them, and make yourself known, and I'll vouch for you if you do all that." So I went and
Nice.
I bought the GED book, and
Uh-huh.
mind you, I never went to high school. I was only
Right.
in probation school or the juvenile hall schools or those camp schools and stuff. So I didn't know anything with high school. I got the GED book, studied it for 2 weeks, and then I went and took my GED tests, all of them in one day, and passed them all. And then
Nice.
so I did that. It's funny because I joke about that because I did high school in 2 weeks. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I did that, and then I started showing up to all the fire stations, asking if I could hike with them, if I could run with them, do their PTs, and then I got on as a seasonal on
Okay.
his engine actually. Um,
Nice.
Later on
Nice.
at the end of the season, we had an old school captain who had been in fire for I think maybe almost 40 years at the time. So if you can think about uh 2008, that guy's been in it. He's an old school type guy, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, he threw something at me at the end of the season party that was an insult and a compliment all in the same. Because during that season, he had found out more about my story and
Okay.
then how I looked bald headed, tattooed, and stuff. And he was like, "You
Mhm.
know what? If it wasn't for Jason, I would have never given you a chance when you walked into my station." And then knowing the stuff, about you, he's all, "But you are one of the best hires I've ever made." So it was like he was saying that, but he's also complimenting me at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was really nice coming from a guy like that who in
Yeah,
fire I
definitely.
respect. And and then I applied for the a permanent apprenticeship and I got it. And then I just dug my heels in, man, and made it my life. You know, I worked on a helicopter crew for a couple years, and then
Nice. That's cool.
yeah, an engine, and then
Yeah.
now I run one of the hand crews, and me and the other guy run the engine. Yeah.
So can you kind of explain your job as far as a firefighter? Because like I worked in a city police department and we had a whole lot of interaction with city fire. So can you kind of explain to the viewers like how your job looks? Like, you're kind of doing it now, but like you mentioned it is in the youth camps, like going out and doing the lines. Like, can you kind of explain that in a little bit more detail? Like how
Yeah.
your job looks
So
compared to like say a city department?
yeah. So the only way that we really associate to any sort of municipal department is the vehicle accidents that we go to. So, or
Okay.
vehicle fires. That's the only time you'll ever see us in SCBAs, which is never, because we would just stay up when. And then the vehicle accidents, which I work on one of the most dangerous highways in Southern California, so we get those quite a bit, and they're ugly.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I
but other
bet.
than that, it's wildfires. So every day at the station, we show up, we do our morning workouts together, and then our station duties, morning workouts, stuff like that, and then we're just training or hanging out, waiting for a call. One of the two. We have stuff like that. We'll go do. We do like fuel reduction stuff like that. So we have different things that we do out in the forest. But we're a national resource, so we can get ordered up anywhere in the nation to go to fires. So if it's cracking off in Arizona, they'll order us up over there, Texas, Colorado, anywhere, even as far as Florida
Okay.
or over there on the East Coast.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so
We
with
had a
with
we
wildfire, like our whole tactics are um, remove the fuel to stop the fire from progressing. So that's cutting line. And that
okay.
could be with dozer, hand line, chainsaws, tools, and then putting in hose lays up the mountain to actually stop to put the fire out. So it's just
Okay.
you're either cutting line or you're putting in hose, basically.
A lot more labor intensive than being a cop.
Yeah,
That's a
and
lot of work, dude.
it's a
Yeah.
different ball game. It's not for everybody. It's dirty.
Yeah.
Before cell phones were really good or even service was, we would have to find a campground and you'd see a line of 30 or 40 of us waiting to just to call home after being spiked out for 8 or 9 days. It was a different, it's a different world. We don't get we'll get hotels if because we're not Cal Fire. They have better contracts than us, so they get hotels every other night. But we're Forest Service, so our contracts are camps, so we sleep in tents at camps. Or we do get lucky, like we get cover assignments. We'll hotel up, and that's always nice. But it's a different world.
Nice.
It's not
Yeah.
for everybody, man. It's like but that's something I do with my social media too. Is I try to get because you can have a record and you can get in. And so one of the biggest
Okay.
things I do is I try to help kids get on crews. I've gotten people on hot shot crews, engines, helicopter crews, type 2 crews, all over the place. Not just here in California, through my social media because I have connections. So they hit me up and I'll tell them what to do. And the simple thing to do for anybody listening is if you want to get into fire, you apply online, USA Jobs, and go out to the stations and ask how to get on the type 2 crew. Because if you can get on a type 2 crew, then your foot's in the door.
Nice. Okay.
So that's what I tell everybody
Yeah.
to do. Go get on a type 2 crew, go to the Forest Service station in your area, ask about the type 2 crew. They'll tell you how to apply for that. And if you can get on that, then your foot's in the door and you can have a career.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
it's really cool too, man, how you're giving back so much. And I want to say this before we keep going. You have a really positive mindset, man. Just considering kind of how everything started for you. A lot of guys, and myself included, can kind of be negative, and it's easy to get down and be angry or resentful. And you have a very positive outlook on life, man, and I really respect that.
Thanks, man. I try to stay there. I think none of us are perfect. I get there, but I found tools when I was younger, which is working out. That's why I
Yeah.
burpee like I did. Oh, I
Yeah.
get stuck in my head. I burpee. I
Yeah.
run, and then I try to change my perspective and use it as a tool. Right now, with what we have going on, with just losing one of our sons, it's like I can see it with my wife. Everything that we preach, everything that we get on here and try to push, is actively working right now. My wife gets in a really bad spot. She'll get in there and do burpees with me, and I can see a difference in her for hours after. It's a roller coaster
Yeah.
right now. It's there's never gonna be.
Yeah.
I think with losing a kid, you're never gonna be just okay. Or there's always gonna be this weight of sadness. We're not supposed to bury our kids, but you have to get to a point where you can be sad and okay at the same time. And be okay with that. And she's her strength. So she went through one of our other kids got really sick, and the doctors couldn't find out what was going on with him. This was about 14 or 15 years ago. And it was eating him away, he was whittling away, he was dying, and no doctor could find out what was going on. So finally, he ran into a doctor who recognized what it was, and then we were taking him to the children's hospital, and he ended up beating it, and he's okay. It's actually his twin brother, one of our kids that we lost. So that messed up my wife pretty bad with a fear of the unknown, anxiety, and she found through that working out was a tool that could help her with her mind state and just her overall mental health. And so now I'm bringing that up to say that she has those tools in her toolbox and is using them right now actively. You know?
Yeah. And I'd like to kind of talk about the relationship advice that you put out on Instagram. That's how we met. I saw
Yeah.
one of your posts, and I was inspired by it. And like I said before we started recording, I'm the product of my own doing, but I'm the product of two divorces. So can you kind of get into that content, that relationship piece that you and your wife are putting out there? It's inspiring, man. It's really cool to see how you guys are just like this cohesive unit, and especially for what you're going through. My heart goes out to you, man. I cannot imagine what you guys are going through, man. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you, man.
You guys are just like that, you know?
I appreciate that, man. I really do. Thank you. So I can relate with you. Me and my wife have both been married and divorced. So, I just go as far as to say that with those kind of relationships, a lot of times you're not with the right person. Some people bring out the worst in you. Some people are you just don't blend with. Once real life sets in, because there's phases. You go through, and then real life sets in. So
Right.
that happens. But so we both came to this marriage with those lessons and what we didn't want. And me and her used to be together when we were 20.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, when I first so I was on the run and met Jenny, and we just connected, man. It was she was the I just looked at her. I remember looking at her then one time when she was talking and just knew that she was the girl I wanted. But I got locked up. And at that time I didn't know what kind of time I was facing. They were offering me 8 years at first. And so she wrote me, and I told her, I'm not gonna write you back anymore because I'm not gonna mess up your life. She was and so that happened. So 10 years goes by, we get back together. We're both going through divorce. Her best friend happened to hit me up on Facebook, a friend request, and it made me think, oh, I wonder what Jenny's doing. So I sent her a message, and then we met up that night at a play where I was taking my kids to, and then we've been back together since.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, it is. But for the first 7 years of our relationship, she just watched me work out. She
Oh,
was
okay.
never the Yeah, she was never the type of girl who wanted to sweat in high school. She would
Yeah.
walk the
Yeah.
laps.
Yeah.
One of those pretty girls, is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that was her whole get down. But I would always invite her because I'd get the kids working out with me and stuff. It was always a thing.
Nice.
And then finally one day she decided to do it, and then now she's an animal
Awesome.
nonstop. Yeah, she
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, she couldn't do even a push up on her knees. And now she's doing Navy
Mm,
SEAL burpees with me. She's doing
nice.
yeah, she's just like the other day I did 500 push-ups in 25 minutes, and she knocked out like 310, I think it was,
Yeah. Dude,
but
that's
regular
insane.
push-ups, so
Wow.
it's powerful.
Oof.
But even with my program, I offer 2-for-1 for couples because my whole get down is what that does for the family unit. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you've been in law enforcement, I'm sure you guys with the PTs and stuff, that there's a bond that you make with the people
Mm-hmm.
that you work out with, the people that you hurt with, right? It's a different kind of
Yeah.
bond. Well,
It is. Yeah, it is.
me and my wife have that.
That's a good way
So
to look at it, man. I never thought of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's a good
we
way to
have
look
that,
at it.
and it's something that we do together. It's something that we're showing our kids. It's and there's nothing negative about it. All it does is
Yeah.
bring us closer together, and I can't push it enough on how powerful I think it is for boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, to actually train together and grow together. Because if that's what you
Yeah.
want to do in life, if you want to have that bond with somebody, you don't need a roommate. You don't need somebody that, that connection and bond and actually hurting and growing together is powerful.
You know what, man? I never even thought of that. I've been a trainer for 20 years and I've never thought of it that way. That's a really good way to put it. That you just blew my mind, dude. I never thought of
Yeah,
it that way. I've always
yeah,
looked at
good.
working out as kind of like it's like my time. It's like my way to decompress. And I'm a metalhead, so I put my headphones on, and that's where I channel my anger and aggression. Because as dudes, we can't do it out on the street when we're out
Yeah.
around the normal people. But that's a cool way to look at it. I need to change my perspective on that, because my girlfriend trains with me at the facility that we own, but I don't really work out with her. It's
Okay.
kind of like
That's normal.
two separate. It is normal. And
That's
because
very
for
normal.
me personally, yeah, me personally in the past, whenever I would try to work out with a girlfriend or a spouse, it didn't go too good. Cause,
Yeah.
I was like
Well, see,
on a different page, but
yeah,
it's a
and
great idea though.
it is, man, and we have different workout. I mean, you still can keep that part of you as well. Like I have when I'm
Yeah.
doing my bag work when I'm boxing, I'm normally by myself. When I'm lifting heavy, I'll slap on my music and do it myself. She has her own
Yeah.
thing. She just went for a run yesterday by herself. You still have, you still have that, but then multiple times a week we have the ones we do together.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I need to
So
try
that's
that. Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
you and your girlfriend should do one of the Zooms with us because that's where we do like she does
Yeah.
all the Zoom. Yeah, we do like body weight back and forth with like the people who want to do join on the Zoom. So they'll go back and forth with me and my wife in a workout.
I liked what you put the other day where she was kind of standing on your feet and you're doing the sit up and you come up and kiss her. That was really cool. I
Oh,
think
my
you had a
biggest
med
reward?
ball. Yeah, that was cool. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. For you
Yeah.
guys watching, you'd go back and check out his page. That's really cool. I'll share that. I'll put it in the story on
Yeah,
Instagram. I
thank you.
saw that. I was like, man, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Shelly's gonna be all over me, man, when she watches this. Oh, we gotta start working out. I feel
You
like,
gotta do it. I'm telling
yeah,
you, man, it's a
yeah,
game changer. It really is. You
yeah,
know, we push each other, we motivate each other. We're both always like holding each other accountable. So
yeah,
like she's got a sweet tooth and she'll bring us in Reese's because those are my favorite, and then she'll
yeah.
complain about it
Oh yeah.
later, and I'll tell her, well, you're the one bringing them in, you know. So we'll get on each other's ass about it.
Yeah, that's funny. I like Reese's too.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
That's
Those are my little guilty pleasure, man. But you know, like now
yeah,
she's even prepping our lunches. So she preps
nice.
our breakfast and lunch. We do overnight oats, and then she preps the lunches. And now she also does it for like some of my coworkers too. So it just became a whole other piece of her life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Well, while you're talking about all this, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers your business name and how they can find you, since we're talking about the training side of it right now.
Yeah, so it's Wild Fit Life 805, and that's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. My website is that, and my website has everything in it. I have a shop. I have my own supplement line, so we sell protein, creatine, pre-workout, all that, and then we have the coaching that we offer. And the coaching program is not like a lot of the guys, other people's programs. My program, like I don't train people who want to do competitive weightlifting or anything like that. That's not my get down. It's about the everyday man and woman. And so that's what I keep it focused to, everyday life, you know, finding ways to fit your self-care into your actual life. So I'll build people programs at home. I'll tell them go buy one pair of dumbbells and a bench, and I'll get you started just as good as if you're at the gym. And if they can get a
Nice.
gym membership, I'll build them some for that, or I'll build them something for both. So if you can't make it to the gym, then you have a workout to do at home. So
Yeah,
it's all about the lifestyle, and that's what
very
my
cool.
program is.
I love your logo too, man. It's really cool. And I can see it. I can see it behind you, but yeah, it's I like it. It's nice.
But yeah, so I
You
got the
got
barbells,
some
and then
cool
I have
gear.
one with the
Yeah,
axes too.
yeah. The
Yeah,
axes are badass. Yeah, that looks really good. That's
yeah.
cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, man, because we haven't covered it yet. At what point of your story did faith play a role? Did you ever kind of look to God or say, God, why is this happening to me? Or how can I do this? Or how can I kind of evolve as an individual? Is that ever part of your story?
So I am not someone who follows one organized religion. So
Okay.
me and my wife believe in God, and we believe in we're spiritual and pray. My daughter even went to like a Catholic school for a little bit, so she's familiar with it. But um, we don't follow an organized religion, but we believe in God, and I believe that the way that we pray and the relationship we have is powerful and beautiful. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to explain my beliefs on that because what I believe God to be is something that we can't even understand.
Mm-hmm.
And working out in nature, on the mountainsides, I was telling my wife this the other day, like seeing the way the river flows and just the way everything works. It would be a hard argument for anybody to me to tell me that there is no God. Um, but I do believe that it's a powerful piece of our life. And then also on the flip side of that, during our recent loss, it's kind of hard to hear some of the way people choose to believe and share that with you. You know, like we didn't want to hear any of the God has a plan. We didn't want to
Yeah.
hear all those typical things that people say to you. It's when you lose one of your kids, that's not stuff you want to hear. So that was a battle at first to understand and not be mad at
Yeah.
God. You know,
Yeah.
so that's been something me and my wife have been talking about. It doesn't take away from our belief, but it makes you sit back on understanding a little bit, and it's a different thing.
Yeah, and that's a good point, man. Because I mean, that's going to be tough to hear when you're trying to go through just that process of the unimaginable, and someone says something like that. That's definitely not. I would never. I would not feel comfortable like when we were talking on Instagram. That's not something I would ever say to anybody. Cause
Yeah, and we know that
I
people mean well, and, like, we have some friends who are
yeah,
very, very religious,
yeah,
and it's not they're not trying to be rude, but, like, even the chaplain, when they were telling us what was going on at the hospital, like, him saying, he's in a better place or anything like that, it's like, "What?" You know? So it's a tough battle, but I just feel like, we've both always prayed and we both always have believed in God, but, we don't, like I say, really preach it on people or get into an organized stuff.
yeah, no, I understand that, and I think that's more common nowadays because there is such kind of a, black eye on church as a whole because of, I live in an area where church is it's big business, man. I mean, there's a church on every corner here, and I'm in the South, but church is a lot different now than it was when I was growing up, and a lot of men face church hurt because of life experience. They've gone through things, and a church will judge them or make them feel unwelcome. And so I totally understand where you're coming from. One of my goals with this podcast was to talk about the Lord, but do it in a way that men or women or whoever's listening can hear it and say, "Hey, I'm worthy of Christ no matter what I've done or where I'm at in life." Versus, you got to be this perfect, individual. You can't make a mistake, which so many of us are kind of taught growing up. So
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah,
where you're coming from with
some
that, man.
religions even shun people, like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
yeah, like, my wife, had to go to, like, a Jehovah Witness church for a little bit when she was younger, and she
yeah.
would see people get, like, I don't know what the word would be, but is it disband? Or, you know, uh,
I know what you mean. Yeah, like basically you're not you're
like, shunned.
excluded from the group. Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so, that's just human behavior. So for me,
yeah,
my relationship with God and what God is to me is love. And
yeah, yeah,
and I don't really mess with, I don't trust people very much. I don't trust men. So I keep my relationship with God in my home.
yeah, yeah. No, I understand that. Is there a like a principle or a creed that has kind of kept you, has carried you through dark times? Is there one thing that's kind of stood out to you, like a saying or a mantra or anything like that?
So um my wife has one tattooed on the back of her neck that do not be afraid because for I'm with you. It's something like that, and
Nice.
that's a powerful
Yeah.
piece of our home. When we have that on the wall.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
our son had it's Psalm 114. Um, I don't remember the second numbers, but offhand it's slipping my mind. But it's in regards to strength from God again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that type of stuff. Yes.
Cool. Awesome, man. Awesome. What would you say if there's a man listening right now that's on the edge of giving up? Do you have any advice for that man listening?
It's funny that you asked that because last night I had a new client who's been wanting to give up. I was trying to talk him off the ledge of suicide last night. And yeah, I shared it with my wife, like, I don't know what to say the right thing, because I don't know how deep he is and what he's got going on. So I was just trying to inspire him to turn that he can place meaning, whatever meaning he wants on any situation. That's the power we have in us. You can my whole motto is every day is day one. And if you can just wake up and change a pattern and do something different, then you can change your life. It's just about what you do with it. It's the whole day one, get up and build off yesterday's lessons and turn it around. That's a hard one, man, because a lot of people are wanting to give up. It could be for mental health reasons or just being tired of life's hardships, and drinking and drugs. So everybody's story is a little different in regards to that. But I think it all boils down to discipline. You just have to stop and make a change and change your perspective. And I think the tool is working out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's the start of self-care. You start taking care of your physical body, then your mind's gonna follow.
Hmm. Discipline's my favorite word in the English language.
It's
I love it.
powerful, man. It is.
It is,
Y
man. It is.
during this time, like, in the first week, I told my wife, I'm like, "I gotta get in the garage and work out. I gotta stay disciplined. I gotta get on it."
Yeah.
And I did that, and you know what she did? Not that day, but I kept at it, and she followed suit, and with that discipline, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
me, leading with intent and keeping our discipline intact.
Yeah. And that's one thing I like to share on here is that the physical side, the fitness side, it plays a role in your mental health. I mean, it's really important. You need mind, body, and spirit, but I think that physical part will get you jump started in the right direction, and then everything else you can start working on. So that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point to make.
Yeah, it goes and that's what I tell people, like, I guess a more simple answer to your question of what would I say to somebody who wants to give up is just go outside and go for a walk, because once you do
Yeah.
that, once you walk around the block, now you're started on a whole different journey. You
Yeah.
started,
You're right.
um,
You're
you
right.
know? So
Yeah.
I made
Get
a
in
post
nature.
about that. Yeah, I made a post about that, and it actually went pretty big because it was simple, and I didn't even mean to make it that way. I had come back from a walk, and I was walking into my front door, and I put the phone in my face, and I just said, something in regards to, wake up tomorrow morning, do a couple push-ups, do a couple air squats, and walk around the block. Now you started to change your life. Now you're on
Yep.
a different path, you know?
Yep.
And
Better every
it
day.
yeah, and it resonates, with people because it doesn't always have to be this huge change where, okay, I have to stop doing this in order to be able to do this. That's what holds people up, especially with drinking and whatnot. You got these people be like, well, I'll stop drinking on Saturday and then I'll start on Sunday. Fucking just start, you know?
Yeah. Just start. Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's the game changer.
Yeah, and you gotta have the courage to start, start somewhere and do it.
Yeah,
And,
you do.
that's good advice, man. Well, as we're kinda wrapping up, man, we kinda covered the business, we covered your career, you're bringing the relationship piece, kind of inspiring men out there. Is there anything else on your mind that you wanna share tonight with, our viewers that are listening?
I would just fall back one more time on who we are as men. There's not enough men leading their family, and
Amen.
there's too
Amen.
many men who, as far as mental health goes, they want to act like they're being tough and not sharing with their spouse or not sharing with their friends, and really going home and drinking to mask it is weak, in my opinion. But so it's about taking accountability for yourself, stepping up and actually doing something instead of trying to hide all the time, because this world is not a safe place. There's people out there nowadays even more that are desperate, and you have to stand up and set the example for your family, work your ass off to take care of your family, and show up and be that love and compassion for your family at the same time.
Yep. Well said, man. Yeah, love and protect your wife, be a leader. And that's a lot of men, myself, my old self did not do that well. And so I'm glad you shared that because more men need to hear that. We need to redefine what masculinity is instead of that old school version of beating your chest. I'm the baddest dude in
Yeah,
the room, but I go
and
home and I
drink it
drink a
away.
fifth. Yeah, I drink
Yeah,
it. And that's what I did, dude. That's what I did. I numbed it. I numbed all that trauma, all that pain because I
I've
didn't want
been
to
there.
face it. But
Mm,
that's weak. At the end of the day, that's weak. That's what I did.
That is weak. Yeah,
Yeah.
and our
Yeah. So
kids
I'm
are
glad
watching.
percent, dude. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one of
Yeah.
the biggest reasons I started my social media was to at first to show my kids that no matter what we're going through, dad is showing up every single day with intent to take care of himself. So if something were to happen to me, they could always look back on that and see the attitude that I was taking on life with to hopefully touch them in some way, because they were already older too. And a lot of times when kids hit a certain age and going through their own spells, they don't want to hear anything that you say, but they do see what you
Right.
do.
Oh, yeah. They're always watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Always watching.
You know, and I even help people out with my program because, you know, money's tight or whatever. But if somebody wants to do better, I normally try to help them out because there's so many people in this world that are neglectful piece of shits. And the more people that you can get on board to taking care of themselves and being accountable, the more better men we have, the better place we're gonna live in.
That's right. That's right. It's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were definitely setting the example, man. I love what you're putting out, and I know you're inspiring people, not just men, but also women. And man, I'm just glad you took the time out of your busy schedule to come on here because for me, it's really cool to be able to connect with like-minded men, especially that aren't in my town, that are across the country, and trying to spread awareness for mental health, try to spread awareness to take care of yourself, and most importantly, put God in your life, be a leader, and love and protect your family. Don't come home and be that guy that self-sabotage or tries to numb because you're too scared to deal with your shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for having me on, man. It's been an honor. And you
Yeah.
know, something I want to pass a message to if anybody who's drinking like that, for an example, if you have a family and you're blacked out drunk at 2 a.m. and someone wants to come into your home, what are you going to do to protect your family? You know, so that's I tell some of my friends that who are big drinkers, you know, I tell them, you know, you care about protecting your family, you're getting blacked out drunk. What's going to happen when somebody comes into your house? You know, you
Right.
can't do it. So that's something to
Yeah.
think
You're
about.
right.
God, there was
Yeah.
something I was going to share with you before we go. Um, slipped my mind. Maybe I'll text you about it.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, take your time, man. Was it, do you remember what topic it was?
it was about the kids and doing something more, but I can't remember exactly what it was because I got off. I had that train of thought with the drinking at 2 in the
Yeah.
morning thing. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I got
Was
lost in
it,
it though.
was it like kids like looking up to you or watching your actions and how you're living your life? Was it related to that?
Was I gonna go with it? Might have been leading by example. Just like, for example, how I was gonna say, like my wife watched me for 7 years, and I just kept inviting her and inviting her and inviting her. That it's not gonna be overnight. You know, I think a lot of people give up, and you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then sometimes things will
Yeah.
happen. So if you really want to lead, sometimes that takes actually leading and doing it and showing the results. Might have been that I was thinking about. I kind of can't believe I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. Well, and I think a big part of that, you just got to stay the course. Like you were saying earlier, do a couple push-ups, go for a walk. It's taking a step every day. And especially with mental health, I don't think there's not really an end goal. You're not saying, "Hey, I want to run a marathon or I want to do a fitness competition." It's mental health is a daily thing, whether it's doing burpees, going for a walk, using a journal. I mean, studying scripture with God, building your relationship spiritually. I mean, it is a constant thing. It's an ongoing thing. And I think that's where the discipline piece comes in, is something you have to do. Dude, and I'm sitting here hosting a podcast about men's mental health. I still struggle with mine. I have to be aware of it. And I don't always do the best job of it. Man, I was like pissed off all morning because of some shit last night that went south, and I had to like get my mind right, and it took me a while to do it. I finally got out of it, but it took a while. So it's not an overnight deal like you just wake up, "Hey, I'm good." It takes
I
it
think we
takes
can all, I
work.
think we can all relate with that. You know, we're always growing, and every day is a different battle. You know, and you gotta
Yeah.
by living the lifestyle of constantly training and constantly with intent working on those things, you're more prepared for the battle when it shows up. Because when my
Yep.
experience in life, the shit's never gonna stop. If you care about other people, then the
Mhm.
hardships are never gonna stop coming. The care and concern is always gonna be there, which is a stressor. So if you're taking care of yourself, then you're better prepared to handle those things when they show up.
Yep. 100%, man. 100%. Just constant improvement every day. But also, I want to say this real quick too. Give yourself grace. So don't expect to be perfect or to never make a mistake, cuz man, that's going to happen. You're going to make a mistake, but just learn from it and grow and just do the best you can.
Yeah, I think that's all part of living, man. If you know the whole ups and downs, you know, the none of us are perfect. So we are gonna sometimes feel like shit. And that's when the toolbox comes into play. You know, if you get too wrapped up in it, for me, go for a run, go do some burpees, change my mindset,
Yeah.
get some blood flowing, get some
Yeah.
deep breaths in, you know? So that's why that toolbox comes into play, because life is not perfect. We are not perfect. And shit is never going to stop.
Nope. No, it's not, man. No,
No.
it's not. No.
Unless you're
Well, man,
self-centered and don't really care about other people, that's really the only way that you could probably find genuine peace, you know?
well, to your point, there's only one form of peace, and that's God. And that's how I see it. I mean, until we get to that place, it's going to be chaos, you know.
Yeah.
And I like how you kind of hit on, you know, you and your wife with your faith. I like how you're doing that with your family. That's a form of leadership. And, you know, that's how God has designed us as men to love and protect our wife, but also to be that leader in the household. And I love to hear that, man. And I think men listening need to hear that, because you don't hear that in normal society. That piece is left out, in my opinion, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that's important. That's good.
Well, especially nowadays too with, you know, it's not like it was in the 50s where, you know, the men, just because of their role with the money making, led the household. You know, now you have a wife who works, you have kids who work, you know, so if you want to
Yeah.
lead, you better do it, you know, and to
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just a given role, I would say, like it would be
Right.
back in the days. You know, you really have to
Yeah.
earn that. A man has to earn his respect from his kids, earn his
Yep.
respect from his wife, and keep showing up every day, because it might take you 10 years to earn it, but you can lose it in 5 minutes.
You're right, man. You're right. You got to constantly be working on it,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. It's worth it. And, you know, I like I said, man, I love what you're putting out there, and that's how I found you. It's inspirational, and I think if more men would look at it from a leadership role and work every day towards it, and you're still going to love and protect, but I think it would help with the. I mean, dude, the average divorce rate the last time I checked for first marriage was almost 70%, and the second marriage is even higher. So you gotta own that role as the man. Handle your shit. Don't self-sabotage. Don't drink yourself to oblivion because you don't want to deal with it. Have the courage to ask for help. Find like-minded men, even if it's through a podcast or a social media platform, to where you can evolve and grow and learn, and not just stay stuck in this almost kid mindset of, you know, I'm going to drink or I'm going to party, I'm going to do whatever so I don't have to focus on my you know, my internal stuff. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Percent.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you taking your time out to come on tonight. I want to tell the viewers, if this episode, it just hit you and you got something out of this, please share it with a friend. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and we also put content out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Justin, I appreciate your time tonight. It was an honor speaking with you. And man, I am looking forward to staying in touch and just seeing more of what you're putting out. You have my prayers, and I'm thinking about you guys. And please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything, man.
Likewise, brother. Thank you so much, man. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. I gotta get on your website and buy some gear. I love your shirts and stuff, man. It's cool.
But I got some
Represent
good
way
ones
out here in
too.
yeah, represent out here in Nashville. But yeah,
Yeah,
man,
thanks, brother.
awesome. Yeah, I
All right,
appreciate
man.
you, man.